Hello there, this is Sean. This is part 4, I think, of the 1400 scale Enterprise B build. And I'm just going to take you through what decals I've done so far and what I'm going to work on next. Mostly the top side saucer and engineering hull. Anyway, I'll put you on the table now. Okay, so you should be able to see everything from here. But what I'm working on, I'll just angle the camera slightly. There you go. That should do it. There you are. So you can see how I'm starting to work on the star drive here. I've got the shuttle bay front in there. I've done some Aztec decals here. Some of the paint color I was working on accidentally. Oh wait, it doesn't show up on camera. But I can see it by my eye. Oh, there it is. But that's proof. That's proof that when I do the 537 Aztec decals with the pearlescent or iridescent paint on them, it will stay on the decal even when the decal is soaked, put in the water, and then applied to the ship. So it's good to know that almost 4 years later, the technique still works. So anyway, as you see, I have the guide for the top of the ship, and because I'm left-handed, I'm just working my way from left to right. But I realize I'm going to have to do the shuttle bay when these are dry. But I want to try to do number 34 next, before I go for 15 and 14, which go on top of the impulse engines. Then once I'm done the secondary hull, at least these parts, then I can focus on the saucer, because none of it will be disturbed in any way when I put the nacelles down. Anyway, I'm going to go work on some of that, and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back again. So you can see how this decal, which fits along the ridges here, has a little bit of Aztec to it, which means it'll fit right in there. So I'm going to have to slide this decal back this way to compensate. So I'll be back once I've done and applied the decal. We'll see how it looks. And there we are. So that is the secondary hull Aztec decals for the Enterprise B 1400 scale. They go on, they're quite subtle. They're quite tough, as in they're not so thick that they won't go on and they won't fold over anything, but they're not so thin that all they do is wrinkle. So actually these decals are actually superior to the AMT Excelsior Aztecs that I used. So now I've done this section. I'm not going to do any decaling on here until the nacelles are in place, because I need to clamp this, and I need to clamp the bottom so that I can hold the nacelle mount in place with when the nacelles are put in there. But I had to do these Aztecs underneath because you won't be able to get at them once the nacelles are put on. So given the way the ship leans, it leans this way, so I'm just going to work from the back and work my way forward throughout the rest of the saucer. And I'm going to save the end of the shuttle bay for another day, when everything here is completely dry. So I'll be back when I've done more of the saucer, and see you in a few minutes. Okay, I'm back. So as you can see, I have cut out decals 12, 11, and 13. They go on the raised part of the saucer here, around the bridge and everything. And then, of course, there's decal number 6, which will be for the gray stepping stone pattern that's around here. Keep it in mind that if a decal fails, I will simply replace the color with the robin's egg blue paint. So I am going to work on those decals next, and I will be back. Well, thanks for waiting. I'm back again. You can see the result of the first bridge adjacent area. You still can hardly see the Aztec decals on there. I'm going to do this section and the one across from it next. And I'm going to work on the impulse engines, giving this section time to dry before I try the gray. I always work from the highest point to the lowest point so that the water doesn't go over a decal that's already set and misalign it. But as you can see, you have all the saucer sections here, and the diagram will tell me which one goes where. So I'll be back when I put on a couple more. Thanks for waiting. I'm back. So as you can see, I have done the top of the ship. You know, what's turning into some kind of a light blue here. I've done the top of the impulse engines, both the side ones and the front and back. And now I'm just working on the tail fins. And I'm going to try the impulse engines and the deflector dish decal. It's a good thing I didn't paint that. Anyway, I'll put those decals on, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Alright, thank you for waiting. I'm back. I have done as much as I can tonight. I'll show you what I got done. I've done the... actually, it's a bit more. Let's see. You see I've done the top. I've done the impulse engines. The side decals went on well. The middle ones didn't, so I just painted them. I've done the side housings of both impulse engines. And I just finished doing the deflector dish, which you can hardly see because it's so dark. Maybe if I turn it this way? No, the deflector dish is hard to see, but it is in there. If I angle the phone this way, you might... Ah, there you go. Now you can see it. So all I'm going to do now is do the top gray on here, which also has an Aztec section attached to it. I'll do those parts and I'll come back, and that'll be the end of this part of the 1400 scale Enterprise B build. I'll be right back. Alright, well I got the decal cut up, but I'm going to do what I did with the with this one. I'm going to cut it in half at its central point so that it's a lot easier to put on. But first, of course, I'm going to dry fit the decal, making sure that it'll actually fit in place as it should, and it will, but it does need to be cut at its central point. So I'm going to do that, and I'll put it on, and I'll be back. Alright, so that's all I dare do tonight. I managed to get the central stripe on there, and I'm just going to let it all sit, let the microsol set it in place, and we'll probably do more tomorrow, probably the saucer Aztecs. I just don't want to disturb anything now. And that's about all I'm going to do on the Excelsior. The bottom is done. All I have to do is the top and the side Aztecs for the star drive hull, the top of the shuttle bay, install the nacelles. But I think it's going to be a lot easier to do the sides of the star drive hull before I install the nacelles, and make this one of the last things I put the Aztecs on the ship, and the top of the nacelle struts, of course. So that's about all for today. I'm going to mark the guide that I did that section, and I'll probably come back maybe tomorrow with the saucer Aztecs, or the maybe I'll try the side star drive hull. Anyway, talk to you all later and have a good night.